6 hyenas had formed a tight circle around a baby elephant in the middle of an open clearing. The baby was tiny, no more than 3 months old, spinning in place and screaming desperately for its mother, who was nowhere to be seen. The alpha male with the torn ear lunged, snapping his jaws right at the baby's feet. The baby leaped back and crashed into another hyena, which immediately grabbed its tail. I floored the gas pedal, and the Jeep tore through the bushes, its hood snapping branches. The clearing was just a short distance away, and I saw a third hyena coming from the side, aiming for the hamstrings. A classic tactic. Immobilize the prey, then tear it apart alive. The Jeep sped into the clearing. I grabbed my rifle and fired into the air. A roar echoed across the savannah, and the hyenas flinched but didn't run. They stopped about 20 paces away and began to howl among themselves. I jumped out of the car, grabbed a flare gun, and fired it right under the alpha male's paws. The flare exploded in a red flame with a deafening bang, and the pack finally wavered. The alpha barked a command, and the hyenas turned and disappeared into the tall grass, but I knew they wouldn't get far. The baby elephant stood in the middle of the clearing, trembling all over. Blood dripped from its bitten tail, but the wound wasn't deep, more of a scratch. I approached slowly, trying not to startle it, and the baby suddenly took a few steps toward me, nudged my leg with its trunk, and whined pitifully. The baby was completely alone, without its mother, without its herd. Elephants never abandon their babies, but this little one seemed to have gotten carried away, strayed from the herd, and was now alone in the middle of the savannah. Leaving him here would be a death warrant. The hyenas would be back within a minute of my departure. I pulled out my radio. Base, this is Kofi. I've found a lone elephant calf in the eastern sector. There's no sign of the herd. I'm going to look for him. I'll be in touch. I needed to find his family, and fast. I looked around, searching for tracks, dents from heavy feet, broken branches, piles of dung. About 50 paces away, I spotted telltale furrows in the ground. Adult elephants had passed through here, and recently, the grass hadn't yet straightened. The tracks led northwest, toward the hills. I moved forward, and the calf immediately trotted after, trying to keep up every step. His tiny legs could barely keep up with me, but he stubbornly stayed close, clearly afraid to be alone again. We followed the trail, and I kept noticing new signs: gnawed acacia branches as tall as I was, fresh droppings that hadn't yet been dispersed by dung beetles. The herd had passed here no more than 1 hour ago. 20 minutes later, we reached a dry riverbed, and I stopped. A herd of buffalo was grazing on the other side of the riverbed, about 30, with several large bulls surrounding it. They noticed us immediately, and the nearest bull raised his head, staring in our direction. His horns were enormous, curved, with sharp tips, capable of piercing even a rhinoceros's hide. Buffalo are among the most dangerous animals in Africa, killing more people than lions. And now we stood directly in the path of an elephant's trail that led through their territory. The bull snorted and took a few steps toward us, lowering his head. The baby elephant pressed itself against my leg and whined softly. I knew the rules: no running, no eye contact, no sudden movements. I placed my hand on the baby's head and began moving left, step by step. The bull suddenly stamped his hoof and feinted. The baby twitched and tried to run. I grabbed him by the ear and held him in place, continuing to walk at a steady pace. My heart was pounding, but I didn't speed up. Another bull joined the first, both watching us with grim attention. We circled the herd for about 10 minutes, making a huge detour through the dry grass. The buffalo gradually lost interest in us, returning to their usual grazing. When we finally reached the other side of the riverbed, I breathed a sigh of relief. The elephant's trail continued onward, toward a clump of baobabs on the hillside. Another half-hour later, I heard what I was waiting for: the low rumble of elephants somewhere beyond the trees. I quickened my pace, and the baby elephant trumpeted and ran forward. A herd appeared from behind the baobabs, 8 adult female elephants and several babies. The baby ran toward them with a joyful squeal, but something went wrong. The nearest female elephant turned toward him, pricked up her ears, and let out a warning bellow. The baby stopped dead in its tracks. The second female elephant stamped her foot, the third swung her trunk. They wouldn't accept him, which meant it was a strange herd. Elephants recognize their own by scent, and this baby smelled like a stranger. I rushed forward and grabbed the baby, dragging it back. One of the female elephants suddenly darted forward, her tusks slashing so close I felt a rush of air. I backed away, clutching the trembling baby until we were a safe distance away. The baby whined pitifully, not understanding why he had been rejected. I realized we had been following the wrong trail all this time. Somewhere out there in the vast savannah was his real mother, and we had to start over. We headed back to the fork in the trail, and then I spotted them 3 hyenas crouched on a distant hill, looking in our direction. The same pack. I recognized the alpha male with the torn ear. They had been tracking us all this time, waiting for the right moment. Every minute could cost us our lives. I returned to the fork, and this time took the second path, a weaker one, almost imperceptible. The size of the tracks made it clear that this faint trail belonged to a solitary female elephant. She was walking alone, without a herd. Strange female elephants always stick together. The calf suddenly stopped, raised his trunk, and began sniffing. His ears perked up, he let out a short, excited sound, and darted forward so fast that I could barely keep up. It seemed the baby had recognized his mother's scent. We ran out into an open space at the foot of the hill, and I saw a lone acacia tree with a wide crown. Under the tree lay the female elephant, enormous, motionless. She wasn't moving, not even her ears were twitching. The calf rushed toward her with a piercing cry and began poking her muzzle with his trunk, pushing, trying to lift her. The female elephant didn't react. I ran up and put my hand to her neck, feeling for a pulse. The skin was warm, but I felt nothing. Could it be that we were too late? Then the elephant slowly raised her head. She was alive, but clearly suffering. Her eyes were cloudy, her breathing heavy and hoarse. The calf trumpeted with joy and snuggled against her side, and I finally saw the reason for everything that was happening. On the elephant's right front leg, just above the knee, there was a huge abscess, a swelling the size of a football, gray-white in color, with taut skin, an infection. The elephant couldn't walk properly because of the pain. Every step was torture. That's why she had fallen behind the herd. That's why she couldn't follow the calf when he ran too far. That's why the baby ended up alone in the middle of the savannah, at the mercy of the hyenas. I grabbed the radio. "Base, this is Kofi. We need a veterinary team immediately." Sending coordinates. An adult elephant with a severe abscess on her leg. Critical condition. Need Kwesi and Abena with a full surgical kit. The dispatcher's voice responded a few seconds later. "Roger that, Kofi. We're sending a team. They'll be with you shortly." I sat down next to the elephant and waited. The calf, snuggled against her side, calmed down and fell silent. He felt at home again with his mother. Half an hour later, a cloud of dust appeared on the horizon, and soon a veterinary pickup truck pulled up. Kwesi and Abena rushed out with equipment and quickly assessed the situation. Kwesi examined the abscess and frowned. "We need to get her up on her feet. The abscess is on the inside of her leg. Lying down won't allow proper access for drainage. The pus will flow into the muscles." Abena filled the syringe and injected the elephant into the base of her ear. "The skin there is thinner, and the medication will penetrate the bloodstream faster. A mild sedative," she explained. "She'll stand, but she won't feel any pain or twitch." After a few minutes, the elephant began to rise slowly, unsteadily. First, she tucked her front legs under her, then her back legs, and finally stood. Her eyes were half closed. She swayed, but she remained standing. Kwesi approached with instruments. "An advanced infection, at least 2 weeks old. It's amazing she's still walking." He took a scalpel and made an incision. A thick, gray-yellow pus gushed from the wound. The baby elephant saw this and rushed toward his mother with an anxious cry, trying to push Kwesi away with his trunk. The baby thought his mother was being hurt. I grabbed him and pulled him aside, hugging him. "Quiet, baby. They're helping her." The baby elephant trembled, but gradually calmed down and simply stood nearby, not taking his eyes off his mother. Abena flushed the cavity with antiseptic, and Kwesi removed dead tissue. The elephant stood motionless, only occasionally shifting from foot to foot. The surgery took almost 1 hour. Kwesi placed a drain, and Abena administered antibiotics and anti-inflammatory medication. When they finished, Kwesi turned to me. "She'll survive, Kofi. She'll be as good as new in 1 month. You found her just in time. A couple more days and the infection would have gotten into her bloodstream." The elephant was gradually coming around from the sedative. Her eyes cleared. She looked around and made a low sound. The baby elephant immediately ran up and trumpeted, nuzzling her muzzle. The elephant hugged him with her trunk and held him close. She took a few cautious steps, and I saw that the limp had almost disappeared. The pain was gone. For the next 2 weeks, I visited them every day, checking the bandage, changing the drain, administering antibiotics. The baby elephant could already recognize the sound of my Jeep from afar and ran out to greet me, trumpeting happily. The elephant was improving before my eyes. The wound was healing. Her strength was returning. She was already finding food and water on her own. 1 month later, I visited for the last time. The abscess had completely healed, leaving only a pink streak of scar. The mother elephant stood in the shade of an acacia tree, and next to her, a baby elephant was playing, now noticeably bigger and stronger. He ran in circles, grabbing branches with his trunk, nudging his mother in the side. I got out of the Jeep, and the baby elephant ran up to me, nuzzling his chest with his trunk. The mother elephant also approached and made a low call, not threatening, more grateful. A herd appeared in the distance. Her family was returning. The mother elephant turned her head and trumpeted in response to their call. The baby elephant wrapped his trunk around my hand one last time and ran after his mother. I watched them walk away, the big mother and the little baby at her side. Step for step, they walked toward the herd at the foot of the hills and soon disappeared into the golden haze of the savannah.